Welcome to the Cinefleur Studio podcast. Here we invite guests from across the floral and plant industry to share their stories and insights. Our aim is to equip you with valuable perspectives, trends and inspiration that will elevate your personal and professional growth. I'm your host, Amanda Payne. Joining me today is Charles Lansdorp. He works as a consultant in the floriculture sector. After studying international trade and marketing, Charles was fascinated by the special positions that the Netherlands had and still has in the international floriculture sector. Colombia, the United States, Italy. Charles has been all over the world, right. But today he is here with us to talk about the message of flowers. So I have a quote for you. We must show the unique power of flowers and plants. They can connect people, and this is desperately needed at this time. So what is the unique power of flowers and plants?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me in this beautiful location. We have a say in the Netherlands. We say flowers say more than 1,000 words. So flowers are emotion. And actually, one of the most important things for my work is bringing together people, quick generations, and we do this with flowers, so we do it with emotions. So that's the beauty of flowers, I think. So it's the strength of bringing over emotion.
You have a special connection with St. Peter's Square in Rome. Can you tell us why?
Oh, well, that's really quite long, but a fascinating story as well. Actually, it's the beginning of my career in the flower industry, because I started working for the Flower Council. I think it was in '88. And I remember I started working. They said, Charles, I was responsible also for the marketing for Italy. And they said, Charles, one thing, you can have all your ideas, but one thing is for sure, there are going to be flowers from Holland on the St. Peter's Square, because that was already started in '86. And the reason why it started was also very interesting, because Pope Giovanni Paolo visited the Netherlands. I think it was in '85. And two brothers, Nick and Charles van der Voort, the two florists, they did a flower decoration in Utrecht, because he visited Utrecht. And it was so nice that actually in the same year, a Dutch priest, Titus Brandsma, was beatificated. So it became beatification. And they really loved to have also the flowers for that occasion in Rome. And it was so nice that then the idea started, well, would it be fantastic to also to decorate with Easter the St. Peter's Square? So that's really was what was happened. So the next year in '86, the Netherlands for the first time did the flower decorations on the St. Peter's Square. You can imagine that was incredible. It was a collaboration with the flowers, but also with the bulbs and the trees. So it was really a big collaboration.
Yeah.
And I started in '88, and actually the next year I was there as well. And that was the first year that the Pope thanked also for the flowers. So he said, bedankt voor de bloemen. And yeah, I can tell you, if you say that in the Netherlands, I think everybody knows this, because it became really a famous slogan.
Yeah.
And then, so I was actually responsible for this program. And then in 2000, I went over to Italy, starting really working also for the PR agency in Italy. And then I was also responsible also for the communication, the PR, and the communication with the Vatican. And yeah, let's say in terms of PR, it's really incredible, because you can talk to the whole world. So there is a press briefing. It's the Good Friday. Then you have the World Press. And what happens is that they get the information of all the events during the Holy Week. And then at the end they say, okay, can you tell us something about the flowers, so we can give our information to the World Press? So you can imagine that that's fantastic. And actually, it's interesting, because in 2026, it's going to be 40 years.
Impressive.
So it's going to be a fantastic occasion for the Netherlands as well, to show also what we do about sustainability, because it's a unique opportunity to to show the world Netherlands and the flowers and plants.
So how would you focus on sustainability?
Well, you can think about the flowers that you present, and I think also maybe before, because we have already a year before, you can also show and visit growers and tell about what's happening, how they're working, because there's a lack of information. People don't really know what's happening in this industry, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity to show to the world what we are doing actually with flowers.
What is happening and how it's becoming more sustainable.
Right, yeah.
Once you've said in an interview, it pays to consistently invest in marketing even when demand is lower than supply. Why do you think that is?
Well, that's something really, if you know the flower industry in the Netherlands, actually we are always focusing on the auction. So we have daily prices. So actually what happens, maybe now not as big as in the past, but if a grower has good prices and he has money to invest and he's willing to do marketing, to do promotion. But if the prices are low, so if the situation is not so good, then they are really, they slow down their marketing. And actually if you want to build a brand, that costs energy, it costs time, and so it costs an investment. And actually I can say there's a change. If, for example, to give you an example, Margin Par is a company that you see, they do a lot of marketing and branding. And actually now I'm in contact also with a grower from Ecuador. They want to do also, they're already present in the Italian market and they really want to brand also to the wedding planners. I work also for the Avalanche growers. It's another brand, of course. So there are things in the good direction, but it needs, you need to invest. That's very important.
Mm-hmm. You've talking about the weddings, because this is an interesting one. You've worked in Italy as a floral consultant.
Right.
Italy is an important wedding destination country with lots of big weddings that have loads of flowers. So when you were asked to interest flower growers in the trade fair My Plant and Garden in Milan, you decided to come up with the concept of wedding flowers. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, also that is a very, very interesting story because, as you said, Italy is known all over the world for the locations for weddings, and Milano is a city of fashion, and I already had contacts also in the fashion industry. So when the show started and they contacted me, said, Charles, we really would love to have also the flowers. And actually, I have to say also the moment, because it's after Valentine's Day. And of course, for the flower industry, it's interesting, but also the wedding planners, because their main work starts actually after Easter. So it's a quite interesting, slow period. So a fantastic moment to visit the show. So I said, if we bring these things together, and the Netherlands is, of course, well known for the flowers, but we have quality flowers, premium flowers. So if we connect also with the growers, and we present every year our novelties and our varieties, then we have a fantastic opportunity in Italy to present the wedding flowers. So we created a wedding platform. Actually, I did it together with the Flower Academy Italy, but also with Chrysal. And OZH, the Dutch Flower Group, was involved as well. And two Dutch, two designers, Bert and Dini. Dini Holter and Bert Kuiper are involved, and of course the show My Plant and Garden itself. And then we are looking for, shouldn't forget also the Dutch embassy and the consulate. They also helped also the first 3 years also with this platform. And then we are focusing on growers of premium flowers and also the companies that, we say in Dutch, the hybriding companies. So they really have the new varieties. So, for example, Hilveda, Antura, Doom and Orange. So we also invite them to present also their new varieties in the wedding market, in the Italian market. So as a grower as well, you have an opportunity to show to the world your wedding flowers.
And one of the things you've also introduced was the flower bar at weddings. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, actually, I have to explain this also. I think it's very important to explain what happened in Italy in Corona was terrible. You can imagine there were no weddings. It was a period very, very incredible for the industry. But another effect was, of course, people were more talking about the planet, how things are going on. So sustainability really became an issue as well. But also in the wedding market. And if you think about it now, because I saw some research actually that the young generation, the Gen Z, as we call it, 75% of them is really concerned about the planet, and there, of course, are the people in the future that will marry. So we said we have to bring also this item into the wedding platform. So we started doing it 2 years ago. Also, we started a collaboration with MPS, the certification organization. So we started bringing also this theme, and then I had an Italian wedding planner, Paolo Nassi. They do 500 weddings per year. That's really incredible.
Yeah.
And so he told me, Charles, for us, sustainability is really, really a big issue. For example, with the food, we don't throw nothing away. We bring it to people that need it. But flowers, we really are looking for ideas. So then popped up the idea, okay, the flowers, why should we give them after the wedding? Because if they're still good, why should you throw them away? So the idea was to make small bouquets. So the florist that's really organizing the wedding could, let's say, make a bar. And after the wedding, make small bouquets of the wedding flowers, and that will be handed over to the guests. So it's also a thing of thank you, and you can give the information. Also for the florist is interesting, because if he can give his information as a shop.
Yeah.
And for Italy, in Italy there's not a big home use of flowers. So if people bring flowers home and they enjoy it for a week, maybe they become also your customer. So it's also, in terms of marketing, it's of course interesting.
It's a win-win situation.
Right. So Chrysal was excited about this, and they said, well, Charles, why shouldn't we present it also in the Netherlands? Because now we are going to have an Italy event in the Netherlands. That's this week, actually. During the trade fair, we are inviting Italian florists. I bring over a group of 50 florists to the Netherlands. And there are also wholesalers coming. So we will present also the flower bar this Friday at the Italy event of Chrysal.
Okay,
right.
Nice. And why do you think people buy flowers? If you're saying that people in Italy don't do that normally, but here they do, I believe.
Right,
Why?
yeah. Well, I think flowers also have to do with rituals and traditions. And one of the things, actually, I think people don't realize, a lot of traditions come also from, for example, from the Catholic Church. If you look about, for example, All Saints, it was 1st of November. In Italy, practically everybody goes to the cemetery and bring flowers. And but I think it's also interesting to realize that also traditions change. And you see now also in Italy, people are tending, less people go to the church. So also let's say the weekly flowers brought to the cemetery is not so much as it used to be. So it's important to look also what's happening, and are there other opportunities or other traditions that of things that we could promote, because everything is always changing. So I think it's important to realize it.
Yeah, and what do you think about the future and people buying plants?
I think one of the things is looking. Maybe I can promote myself a little because I also have a foundation. I started a foundation bringing generations together, young and old people, and the reason to do this was also because we see a lot of loneliness. And if you, for example, bring flowers to somebody who's lonely, or to your grandparents, that's fantastic. So you create also a new opportunity. And we have, it started also in Italy. We have a special day. We call it's the Grandparents' Day, actually. So that could be also in the future a new tradition, a new moment to give flowers. So we have to be very careful, and we have to study to see how markets can change, and what can we do about this. So it's a fascinating theme.
Yeah, because you're talking about I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Festa dei Nonni.
Right. That's correct.
And this is an official holiday on which, just for listeners that don't know what it is yet, an official holiday on which grandchildren show their appreciation for their grandparents.
Right.
And this is also introduced in the Netherlands since 2021 and has been linked to the Week Against Loneliness.
Yeah.
How does your role as a flower consultant help in this venture?
Well, first of all, let me explain you how this let's say this whole, because it's a part of my life actually.
Yeah, please tell me.
It started in 1997. I was then in the Netherlands. It was a project between the Netherlands and Italy, and actually one of the activities was we wanted to bring over to the new generation the knowledge of flowers and plants, and we saw in Italy that the grandparents had a lot of knowledge. So then the Italian counterpart, the president at that time was Franco Locatelli, and his friend Arturo Croce, they said it would be fantastic to create a new day for the grandparents. So initially it was at the end of the school season. And then the politics, because you have a lot of elderly people, so also in Italy, the politics came involved. And our president, fortunately, had contacts also with Italian politicians. So then the idea came to start this day in the 2nd of October, which is the day of the Holy Angel, of the Angeli Custode. So the saint, how do you say that in English? The
saint of
the angels, Angels Day.
Angel Day, okay.
And then the Italian Parliament they approved it, so it became a law. So I think it's the only country in the world that Grandparents' Day is officially recognized by the Parliament. So that was fantastic, because it meant that schools started talking about it. The president of Italy every year tells about the importance of the grandparents. So and that was in 2005. And then I met a Dutch soccer player, Clarence Seedorf. He was playing for AC Milan. And we did a project together, and it came on the Dutch television, because he was coming back to the Dutch soccer team, and so they wanted to do a special for Clarence Seedorf, and so he talked about our project, and I said, well, I'm already the person for the Grandparents' Day, so why should we bring this day over to other countries? Because not only in Italy there are grandparents, but also in the Netherlands and other countries. So then I really thought, I made the decision to create an own foundation, which aim is to bring to promote the communication between generations with flowers and plants.
Yep.
So that started in 2006, and so that's why my foundation really started in Italy, but now I'm working in Germany, and as you said, in the Netherlands. And it was maybe also a coincidence, but maybe also I was fortunate that in this let's say also in this period there's a Netherlands a week against loneliness, so the day fits it also in this week. So we became also a member of this coalition with our foundation, and so that really gave it a boost as well. And we have a very, very nice ambassador in the Netherlands, Gerda Havertong. I think you've never heard of her, but she played 30 years in Sesame Street. So she's a very famous grandmother. Everybody knows her in the Netherlands, and so she is our ambassador in the Netherlands.
Sounds familiar, the name. I knew it was somewhere.
Yeah. So that's going to. And again, I started also in Germany. Also there, the theme of loneliness is very, very big, because Europe is getting older. We're getting more and more elderly people. And
it is, yeah.
If I also brought this little flower composition made by a child, so you can also stimulate young people to do something with flowers, because that's the other thing of it. We need to bring the young generation closer to the world of flowers and plants.
Yep.
So that's another opportunity of this new day. That young people are really working with flowers, and because everybody has a smartphone, but nobody's used to work with the flowers. So that's another opportunity of this project.
And it sounds like you're also bridging the gap of knowledge from grandparents to children.
Yeah. Actually, that's another. I think that's another thing which is very, very important. And again, I think this is one of the things that everybody, if you explain what Grandparents' Day is about, and say it's about connecting generations, but also bringing the knowledge, exchange of knowledge, because also young people can bring their knowledge to the elder generation. That's the main objective of this project.
And I just want to go back to sustainability. How sustainable is the demand for flowers, and how can we nurture this for the future?
Well, that's a challenge for the whole industry, actually, because at the moment there are a lot of questions about this. And personally, I think we should show the world, because we're doing a lot of good things, actually. But I think a lot of people don't know what we're doing. And so sustainability, I had in Germany, it was very nice, because when I did we organized the Grandparents' Day in Germany, I put out the same question to the organizer. I said, what do you think about sustainability and flowers? And she said, Charles, what you're doing is sustainable. You're connecting generations. You're creating sustainable relationships. Isn't that sustainable? I said, yeah, that's sustainable. So, talking about sustainability, if you talk about the way of growing, yeah, of course, that can always be better. But I think sustainability should also look, how do we bring over the message, the emotional flowers?
Yeah.
That's our challenge, actually, because now the talks are only about the way of growing, but we should actually tell people and show people the emotions what flowers can mean also. Happiness, joy. I just looking at, we did it in Germany, we just give a rose to an elderly person, and if you see how happy it is, and they put it in the room and enjoy for it for 2 weeks, that's sustainable. So let's show the world that we can do this with flowers.
Yeah, and that's the special power.
Yeah,
flowers have.
That only flowers have this. So,
yeah. If I buy a bouquet of cut flowers and I walk by each time, I'm happy.
Right.
It's something special. I was wondering, is there anything you would still like to share with the listeners? Some last words of wisdom, quote?
Well, I actually, again, that's another very fantastic story. Do you know Rutger Hauer?
Yes.
Rutger, yeah. So I met Rutger Hauer in Italy, and it was also fantastic. Another story. I don't know how much time we have.
You have time, please do tell.
Also, that was incredible, because actually I had running a program in Italy for Grandparents' Day, and I was going to our partner in Riccione, where there's a Delfinario, and I told them about the foundation, that I was working with Clarence Seedorf. And he said, yeah, I also know a Dutch guy. And he said, oh, Rutger Hauer. I said, Rutger Hauer, how do you know this guy? I said, well, actually, Rutger Hauer came over because he also had a foundation, the Starfish Foundation. And he went to this Delfinario to make a film. But he had no appointment, nothing. So he just went there with a bus with camera, with actors. And so he met this guy, Leandro. And they had a connection, so he realized his film, and they became friends. And so what happened a month later, it was on a Sunday. I still remember that my phone was ringing, and it was a Dutch number on my phone. I said, well, probably some kind of exporter wants maybe some difficulties. Yeah. So I took the phone and I said, yeah, hello, with Rutger Hauer. I'm sitting in Milan. Do you like to have a cup of coffee with me? So I said to my wife, let's go meet Rutger, because we say in the Holland we have the Flores generation. Flores was a program on Dutch television. Everybody in Holland knows it. It was a very famous TV series. So we met him in Milan, and then we keep contact. And then in 2014, when I presented the Grandparents' Day in Amsterdam, he came, and I gave him our book, because we also have a fairy tale about Grandparents' Day. And then he said, Charles, the world, if we let's say give the older generation gives the information, our knowledge to the younger generation, that's important for the future of our planet. So that's my quote. And actually 2 weeks ago, there was a documentary about Rutger Hauer, because he died, unfortunately, in 2019. But there was a documentary about his life, his private life, because he was very close. Nobody knew about his private life. And then he talked also about in his career that he actually made during his career he made all kinds of films to show also to the younger people about acting. So he also started a film academy to give his knowledge to the younger generation. So then for me that was another fantastic connection. I understand why he was willing to give also to help also our foundation.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's he's a hero for me. So
Yeah.
everybody knows Blade Runner. That's a movie.
You won't forget.
No, that you won't forget it. So that's my quote.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being with us on the Cinefleur Studio podcast. We hope today's insights provide you with valuable knowledge on your floral and thank you for being with us on the Cinefleur Studio podcast. We hope today's insights provide you with valuable knowledge for your floral endeavors. Be sure to subscribe for more enlightening conversations and follow Cinefleur on social media to stay in the loop with the latest trends and stories in the floral and plant industry. Thank you.
Thank you.